Just stop blowing for 1 minute and I'll be done. Ruth Helmuth spoke around a wooden clothespin clenched in her teeth, the wind nearly whipping the damp, snowy white apron out of her hands as she secured it to the line. She reached down into the laundry basket, made of beautifully stained maple slats, and pulled out another apron, which soon joined the first, flapping in the stiff December breeze. It was above freezing, and the sun was shining, so Ruth had decided it was a fine day for hanging out the wash, even if it was a bit chilly and her hands were growing red and numb from handling the wet clothes. The cold breeze caused the skirts of her long purple dress to billow around her ankles as she hurried back toward the warm house she'd shared with her husband Levi until his death nearly 1 year ago. But before she could climb the steps into her cozy kitchen with its glowing wood stove, a buggy turned into her driveway. Now who could that be? Ruth squinted against the morning sun, still riding low in the eastern sky. Her 2 great Pyrenees dogs jumped up from where they'd been lying in the brown winter grass and barked a warning. "Volka, Heftig, go guard the goats." With a final half-hearted woof from Volka, the pair took off toward the barn. As the 2-seater buggy drew nearer, she was surprised to recognize the bishop of her district, Abram Troyer, guiding his standard-bred mare, Spot, down her drive. "Gooder Marie, Ruth," Bishop Troyer said as he climbed from his rig and secured the gentle animal, a former harness racehorse, to the hitching post. He rubbed the mare's velvety nose as he peered anxiously at the dogs. "I'd forgotten about those 2 great fierce beasts of yours. My, they've gotten big. Are you sure they're safe?" "Gooder Marie, Bishop. Yeah, I told them to go inside with the goats, and they'll stay in the barn for now." He nodded, casting a slightly apprehensive glance toward the barn. "Well, I have something to discuss with you, Ruth, if you have a few minutes." "For sure and certain. Please, come inside. It's right cold this morning, even with the sun so bright. I've got cinnamon rolls fresh from the oven and a pot of coffee on." "I don't mind if I do." Bishop Troyer followed Ruth through the little gate leading from the farmyard into her garden, and then up 4 steps into her kitchen. Ruth filled 2 mugs with coffee, leaving room in one for the cream and sugar she knew Bishop Troyer loved. "Ach, it feels good to sit down in a cozy kitchen with a warm stove keeping the chill away. Dengi." Bishop Troyer stretched his long legs underneath the table. "You are welcome, Bishop." Ruth set a plate of hot rolls before him. "These look delicious." He selected one and placed it on his plate before licking the icing from his fingers and smiling sheepishly. "My Amelia used to make these for me." He sipped his coffee before taking a large bite of his roll. Closing his eyes in bliss, he sighed. "Ach, yours are just as good, Ruth." She smiled, well pleased, and sipped her own coffee. She wondered when he'd get around to speaking of the reason for his visit. "I'll get fat as a milk cow if I eat too many of these." The bishop wiped the crumbs from his face and fingers, then placed the napkin on the table above his plate. He took another sip of coffee and then set the mug down and looked at Ruth. "Though it might be worth it. Do you mind if I have another?" "Of course not. Please, help yourself." He ate another roll with obvious pleasure before sitting back, dabbing at his mouth with his napkin, and patting his slightly rounded belly contentedly. "I'm sure you're wondering why I came here this morning, and it wasn't to eat your fine rolls, although that was an unexpected pleasure.